Today's first arrival is Elsa Cox from Orkney, with a piece of art in need of urgent care.
Hi!
Joining Dom is the barn's paintings conservator, Lucia Scalisi.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, this is a beautiful painting. Can you tell us about it?
The painting is by the Arcadian artist Stanley Cursitor, and it's of some tarred huts at Yesnaby, which is on the remote and rugged west coast of Orkney.
Did you say, sorry, Orcadian?
Orcadian, yes.
I've never heard that word before.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful word.
What does it mean?
From Orkney.
Okay, from the Orkney Island.
Yes. My great-great-grandfather lived in Stromness, where he was a fisherman, but he would go up to Yesnaby for about 6 or 7 months of the year to stay in these tarred huts to fish for lobsters.
That's quite a sort of big ordeal, moving for half the year. Why would he do that?
It was basically to beat the competition, to be closer to the fishing grounds.
Literally just to get a head start?
Yes, and then the lobsters would be eventually shipped to London.
What sort of time would this have been?
The 1920s and 1930s. So they were some of the last fishermen to uphold this tradition. The huts are long gone. There's no evidence there anymore that this way of life existed. So that's one of the reasons why the painting is so important to us. And part of its importance is that it was gifted by Stanley to my great-great-grandfather. He would come and stay there over the summers to paint, and they became friends.
Brilliant, isn't it? It's just captured sort of a frozen moment in time.
Yeah, and the colour palette is really beautiful, that mutedness as well.
I think it's just a very peaceful painting, isn't it?
Exactly, I was going to say, it has a sense of calm about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So since this was given to your great-great-grandfather, where's it been?
Well, my grandmother died in 2017. Unfortunately, that's where the problem began with the painting, because we discovered after my granny passed away that the house was full of woodworm.
Oh, the whole house.
And when it moved to my mum's house, one day we noticed that they decided to eat through a corner of the painting.
They wouldn't eat canvas, though, would
It's
they?
not canvas.
What, the paint? This isn't painted on canvas?
No, it's wooden boards that he painted on, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So they're the flight holes, and I have never seen this before in my life. There are insects behind the glass. They're trapped.
Yeah, you can see them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I shouldn't get excited about woodworm, but this is very exciting.
The woodworm may still be active, so if there was a way to treat that and, you know, to save it, if possible, that would be fantastic. It's such a precious piece for us, the connection with a way of life that's long gone, and that connection with the artist as well.
And there's so much history in there for your family, but also for Orkney.
Yeah.
And to capture the fishing huts. It's really a marker in time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
gorgeous. I can't wait to have a close look at it and see what's going on, but thank you for trusting me to do work on this painting.
Thanks very much.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Yep. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.
Woodworm is just a terrifying thing, though.
I know.
You can see right through there. Look, the light's coming through from the back.
Is it?
Yeah, there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to go and get some tools and actually start thinking about what I'm going to do with this, but we'll open it here.
Brilliant. I can't wait to see it. Yes. Oh, dear.
I'm kind of very nervous about what we're going to find here. Oh, we've got a woodworm in that hole, and he's wiggling his little legs. Oh, it's definitely moving. I need to get the painting out of the panel. Yes. One there, he's coming out. It's serious. Wow. I've seen active woodworm before, but I've never actually seen the beetles. If I don't treat this, Elsa's painting is going to be destroyed. I mean, personally, I think she's got it here in the nick of time. We're going to have to act quite quickly with these things. So it's going to be a crime scene by the time I've finished here. I've got some woodworm treatment. I can syringe it into the holes individually, and that will kill the beetles and any worm that's in there. Let's go. I'm going to inject every hole on the front and every hole on the back, and I'll do that twice. And that should do it, really. And then I'll be able to get on with the real job of actually working on the paint layer. Yeah.
Next to arrive is Shaban Zaidan with a family treasure that reminds him of growing up in Lebanon. It's a job for luthier Julian Wallace.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Hi,
Thank
you
you.
okay? Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What's happened to your guitar?
It's an oud, actually. It's a Lebanese Arabic guitar. It's about 60 plus years old. It's my father's. We call it the Daddy's Oud or Oud Baba.
What was your dad's name?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim.
He was a very ambitious man, and he always used to idolize this singer called Farid al-Atrash, who used to play the oud so well. And he just wanted to be that person. When I was about 10 years old, my father walked through the door with this big box. We wondered, what is it? Has he brought us a present or something like that? We all followed him like ducks. There were about 11 of us in the family.
11 of you?
Yes. He opened that, and it was obviously shining, absolutely beautiful. And we looked at him and said, well, who's going to play it? And he said, I am. And he started strumming on it. My mother smiling and looking at him, and he sort of idolized Mum, and he kept looking at her, and he started to sing. And he said, come on, Dan, sing with me. You know, and we were singing and dancing, and that evening is such a superb evening.
It's etched on your mind.
I would never, ever forget it. And for me just to look at it and just remember him. Remember these evenings where the warmth, the love, the dancing, the joy. What I admired most, Dad was semi-illiterate. He never read the music. He done it purely by ear. And he was remarkably brilliant with it. And he enjoyed every minute of it. It brought his smile. He brought us the smile. He brought us the laughter. He brought us the joy. He was such a kind man and very, very loving and caring. But then I had to go to England and study English. Then the Lebanese war started, civil war, so I couldn't go back. My mother, unfortunately, died in 1974, and he stopped playing it. And,
when Mum passed?
When Mum died, he didn't want to touch it anymore. His attitude was, who am I playing for? You know? Last time I heard it was back in 1960s. Following the death of my dad back in 2001, I rang my sister and she said, he left a note to say the oud is yours. And she said, it's very delicate. And I said, why don't you come over and visit me, and I'll pay for the ticket to put it in its own seat.
You bought a ticket for the oud?
Yeah.
On a plane?
Yeah.
On the plane.
It's on seat on the plane. And when she arrived, unfortunately, somebody fell back, apparently, and his elbow went into it. Oh. That's basically it. And
gutting, yeah.
And that's since 2002, it's been sitting like that.
I can hear things rattling around inside. I'm hoping that's what I can see is missing.
It is the heart.
It's the rose.
And that's how it should have been.
If I can repair it, how will you feel?
I don't think I'll be able to describe my words, really. Dad meant so much to me, and it meant a lot.
It's special.
It's the only memory I have of him. And that's really where I'm eternally grateful if you can do it.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for bringing it in.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now. This beautiful little ood is pretty vulnerable, and I've got to be really careful how I approach this one. The obvious damage here, the rose as it's known, we need to get that fixed in place. But the main thing for playability and structurally is this neck joint. This is loose, and that is crucial. If that doesn't work, then the whole fix can't go ahead. So I'm going to use a fast-setting glue. And I've got to mask off so I don't get any of the glue running anywhere I don't want it to go. I have a very runny glue, which is going to penetrate. And when I'm happy, I've got to open the neck joint up, let that glue go in. I'm clamping it and holding it until I'm really happy the glue is set. Right, optimistically I'm going to let go. That is solid as rock now. Yes, bingo. Well happy with that one. Whew.
What's that?
It's a steak.
It's what, medium rare or well done?
It's very well done. It's quite tough.
Now the insects have all gone, I need to start treating the wormholes. You can see along the surface that some of the paint is raised, and these are the actual worm tunnels where there's actually no supporting wood underneath. What I'm going to do is inject synthetic resin into the holes, and it should bond the fractured wood together and give it some strength. Woodworm is probably the worst damage you can get from an insect in a painting. It's amazing how far it travels into the wood. So I'll just inject it slowly. Once I've finished injecting these holes with the consolidant, I'll start filling the holes and then I'll start the retouching. Some of them are quite deep on this very thin 2-ply wood. So what I'm going to do is actually pack the holes out using a mixture of sawdust and PVA. And it will provide that foundation on which I can put the filling surface. And I'm going to very gently try and pack it in there. It's quite nice when it starts getting just that little bit tacky. It has a nice plasticity, and that helps when you're actually pushing it down into the tunnel that the worm has made when it's coming out. I'm very pleased with the way this is going. It's quite nice to do. And I'm just going to clean up around these holes before it all sets hard.
Ooh. Pop goes the weasel.
I finished the filling of the wormholes, and we're now at the stage for retouching. And I'm going to actually retouch with egg tempera. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this artist, Stanley Cursitor, was really heavily influenced by the Impressionists. A lot of Impressionists did not like their paintings to be varnished. And I'm hoping to be able to match not just the colours, but the actual finish of the paint to the finish of this particular painting, which is quite a special finish. It's not glossy, shiny, it's matte and chalky. I need a pot, I need some paper towel, and I need my egg. All paint is made of two things, the pigment and the actual medium. You know, if it's oil paint, it's an oil medium. It's the medium that dictates what the paint is called. Ooh, very rich egg. And this is egg tempera, and it's a very traditional painting technique. I'm going to just need the actual yolk, but I just need to separate the white away as much as possible. I'm going to prick the yolk sac And then the oily contents, the actual egg yolk, that is what I'm going to use as my paint medium. So there it goes. And that's more than enough for me. I'm going to mix my pigments. Titanium white, yellow ochre, and that's a burnt sienna. And let's see what we can mix up. So I'm actually going to start retouching these areas down here. So they're very chalky, they're white, there's actually a little bit of pink in there. I'm just going to keep going over these losses and gradually build up these areas of retouching, slowly but surely.
The barn's next visitors are Samantha Ryder and her brother Lewis. They brought a family treasure that once belonged to a trailblazing aviator for the attention of leather expert Susie Fletcher.
Hello.
Hello.
You doing?
Hello.
Sam and Lewis, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So what have we got in the box?
Well, we've bought in our granny's flying helmet.
All right.
It needs a bit of help. The mouthpiece here is probably the worst bit, and the straps.
Okay.
You said it was your grandmother's.
Yeah, our father's mother,
And what was her name?
Yvonne Pope Sintes.
And she flew planes then?
Yes.
And she was the first female commercial airline jet pilot in the UK.
God, blimey, got to stand up straight. That's an important lady.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is First Officer Sintes speaking. We are now cruising at 33,000 feet and flying at 500 miles an hour.
Why did you want to be a pilot?
Oh, I'd always wanted to fly ever since I was 8 years old, when we lived near Croydon Airport, and I used to watch the planes coming into land over our woods.
And this helmet was used when?
When she started to learn to fly in 1952.
She always wanted to fly. Before she even thought about career or anything like that.
Yeah.
She just knew she wanted to fly.
She wanted to fly.
She got her pilot's license before she could drive.
Really?
Yeah. Her grandfather, Eric Pope, he was one of her instructors.
All right.
And it was only a few years after that that they got married, flew off to their honeymoon, and they had 2 children, our father John and our uncle Chris. But unfortunately, just after Chris was born, Eric died of a brain hemorrhage. So leaving my granny with 1 2-year-old and 1 2-day-old.
Goodness.
Whoa.
And that very much forced her to find a steady source of income quite quickly.
She became air traffic controller.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
what she wanted to do. She wanted to
Yeah.
fly. So while she was at air traffic control, she was desperately trying to become a commercial pilot
Yeah.
and faced several battles with airlines because she was a woman.
Yeah.
There certainly weren't many women in aviation at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Having to go into some of the offices in London and say, look, you failed me or you're barring me because I'm female
Yeah.
and you're going to give me this qualification.
Wow.
She sounds like a fascinating woman. She must have had massive hurdles to get over.
Definitely an inspiration. She knew what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that has really helped to be able to think if she could have done so much, these smaller little hurdles I need to get through are nothing. And absolutely I can do those.
Yeah. And your connection with this, when did she hand it over to you?
She handed it over to my dad,
Okay.
who cared for it, looked after it.
This is part of the reason we're here today. Our granny died last summer. Our father died last February.
Wow.
And he was so incredibly proud of her. We're here today for him and to preserve it, for my children be able to have something to look at to prompt those stories.
I can see it's a little tired. What exactly is wrong with the helmet?
Well, the biggest concern for us is probably the mouthpiece. It's the disintegration around the outside, and we don't really think that that will last probably much longer.
Okay.
The straps, that used to do the helmet up. That's gone a bit tattery.
The leather's actually faring up quite well.
Yep, looks good.
It does obviously need a little bit of TLC.
Sure.
As long as it's in a state where we can keep it,
Yeah.
that it's not going to crumble into a pile of dust underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
You inspired to fix this, Suze?
I like a challenge, and I'm thinking like your grandmother, she definitely was up for a challenge. It's like, so I'll just take on the challenge, see what I can do.
Thank you both for bringing it in.
Thank you so much for taking it on.
It's this
My
young lady.
pleasure.
Thanks.
You take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, this is an absolutely fascinating helmet. It does really scream quality. But looking at this strap here that is heavily frayed, I'm always trying to salvage the original material, so I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to tackle that area just yet. And then we move on to the mouthpiece. And this is, quite frankly, in a dreadful state. This is rubber that has perished. It's disfigured, so it's been crunched up. It's completely unstable and is my biggest area of concern. The leather itself is a little bit dirty, but really not too bad. I can see this area is really needing to be cleaned, so I'm just using cotton bud with a little bit of glycerine soap on it. So this is really encouraging how the dirt is coming off. A little bit of patience and I will get the rest of it clean, and I can then tackle the mouthpiece.
Outside, Julian has carefully glued the broken pieces of the oud that was splintered during its journey from Lebanon.
The damage that was caused when this guy's elbow went through is so bad. All the pieces, they fell inside. I've had to fish them out. We're putting the jigsaw back together, basically. This is a little moment of truth. The clamps are off, and this is nice and flat. That's just what I wanted. Structurally, we're getting there. Aesthetically, it's just not pretty. I've really got my work cut out. This piece of wood, it's so damaged and there's so much of it missing, but it's structurally weak. So what I have planned is a strengthening ring to cover these misdemeanors and stop it from caving in the future. That's good. I'm happy with that. I just got to cut the middle bit out now. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely perfect. When I put the decorative purfling in, this stuff makes it look really nice. You often see it on the edge of guitars and goes in an absolute treat. Look at that. I'm really chuffed with that. Now I can get my focus onto this series of cracks in the front of the oud. Just to run glue in there wouldn't be enough, really. So what I'm going to do is add cleats, these little pieces of wood. And their idea is to go underneath, invisibly inside, and to strengthen the crack. But I need to get them in the exact place. Little trick I've got is to use this small field paper. It picks up the magnetic field, tells you where magnets are, really. So if I use a little magnet on the inside with my cleat on it, just tacked in so it won't fall off, just put a nice little layer of glue on the cleat, I can then position it in the exact place I want it. Wish me luck, I'm going in. There we are, I can just see the magnet now. I'm going to put it right here so I can see my cleat is midway. How do I keep that magnet in? Well, I simply take another one, and that is the cleat clamped in place. So that's the first one in. I can just simply slide the paper away. Move on to the next two.
The beautiful painting from Orkney is ready to go into its frame. It's really important to lift a painting away from the glass. The paint can actually stick to the glass, and once that's stuck, that is it. You can't get it off without it just crumbling to bits. I've actually fitted strips of wood along the edges, so this will lift the painting away from the glazing. The glass is an old float glass, so it's got some waves in it, you know, but it's quite charming. It all adds to the charm.
This painting illustrates a way of life that no longer exists. It arrived at the barn with its own survival under threat.
Lucia, you ready?
Yeah, great.
Come on in. Gosh. Let's put it on this. She's going to be here in a minute.
Okay.
Today, Elsa has returned to be reunited with the artwork that depicts the life of her great-great-grandfather in Orkney.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
How you doing?
Hi,
Good,
Elsa.
thanks.
Oh, bless
Yeah.
you. How you feeling?
Just really excited to see the painting.
Okay.
So it's so close to my family's heart. So
Yeah.
been thinking about it all the time and what it might look like now.
Come on, Lucia.
Yeah.
Let her have a look.
Wow. It's amazing. All the holes have gone. I really didn't know whether it could be saved. It's so closely linked to my family and a way of life that doesn't exist anymore. It's really, really important to us. Thank you so much. The connection, I think, with the sea and my family, and it's a very Arcadian scene. It's very precious to me, so I'm actually getting a lot more emotional than I thought I would. It's just wonderful to see it.
It looks good now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks amazing.
What a fantastic history you've got.
Yeah.
Really.
I bet you can't wait to get this home.
I can't wait. Really looking forward to it.
All right, well, we'll help you get this to the car.
That's great.
All right?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Great.
Come on, I'll get the door.
It was such a surprise to see the painting in such great condition because there was so much damage. I'm absolutely delighted. It's fantastic. No woodworm will ever come anywhere near the painting again.
With the flying helmet's leather outer now clean, Susie is ready to tackle the perished rubber mouthpiece.
The mask has sort of crumpled in on itself. So I need to get some heat back into it. That helps to get it malleable again. And then persuade this to go back in the original shape that it was. I'm actually quite apprehensive because I've never worked with rubber before. Fingers crossed it's going to work. I'm going to start by soaking some towels in boiling hot water rather than a heat gun or a hairdryer. This way I'll have a little bit more control over things. I'm going to start on the side. I may be hoping for a little bit too much, but it would be very nice if I can get this to start to move. Already, that just moved really easily. This is really interesting because we're pressing on it. It's actually yielding now. There really is some movement there. So that is incredibly encouraging. I need to just keep carefully working away at this and getting this whole edge to come out. So that has worked really, really well. I'm very happy with that. This whole area is a lot closer to how it looked when Yvonne was using it. I'm at the point now where I'm going to tackle the old rubber that's flaking away and cracked. I've got a two-part product that I'm going to mix together that basically is going to create rubber. That's going to fill in all those voids and strengthen the old rubber. Wow, I'm really pleased with how that looks. It's trickling into all of those cracks and filling those voids. So I just need to continue working around the mask, and by the end of it, it'll all be stabilised and consolidated. Right, so now that's all dried, I'm going to start painting over in an attempt to disguise it and just blend it down to the surrounding rubber. I'm using acrylic paint for this. When it dries, it actually dries with a matte finish. Old rubber tends to look really dusty and very matte, so I'm trying to get this to look like that.
Traditionally, electric and acoustic guitars only have 6 strings, and this oud has 6 strings, but in pairs. Each pair of strings are tuned to the same note. It's such a unique sound, and just getting it all into position just where I want it. Hey, hear that? It's the first time it's sung in how long? Just one little note, that's the first time she's started to sing again. What a gorgeous moment. I can't wait to get all of the strings on and get this tuned up and get to that sound that Shaban remembers all those years ago.
For Shaban, the oud serves as a precious reminder of his father and of the warmth, love, dancing and joy that was the heart of family life back in Lebanon.
Good morning.
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
Shaban, I've heard a lot about you.
Thing of good thing.
Really good things, and all about your oud as well.
My hair standing up a little bit, if you can see any hair on my head, because I just want to have it back. It's our pride and joy, and it's always been part of my life.
Well, what do you hope Jules has managed to do for you?
Bring something back to life, bring something that I can be proud of, just bring back these beautiful memories that we take for granted when we're young. Once you see your dad or your parents taking pride in something, you emulate them, you copy them, you want to show them that you can actually be as proud in doing something important to yourself. And I thank him really for making me what I am now.
One person who takes pride in their work, that's Jules.
I know.
Would you like to see what Jules has managed to achieve?
I'm really excited to see it, yes.
Okay.
Can't believe that. Fantastic. How did you manage to do that? So beautifully done. That's how it looked. It means so much to me. I'm really very, very, very grateful.
I know it does.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. I am very happy with the outcome, and to see your reaction has made my day.
Imagine it in my father's hands. What a beautiful voice. God, you brought it back to life. Such a beautiful instrument, and the noise that comes out from it, it's not a noise, actually, it's history. Very nice. Thank you.
Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it.
Sort of properly?
Yeah.
OK.
Can't wait for this. That was really good.
When you start playing it, it makes me shudder. And just imagining, you know, my father and my mother sitting there, and it's literally like waking up and suddenly realizing you're actually there.
Well, all I need to do is hand it over.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure to see you and to do.
I'll always treasure it, but I'll always remember who did it. I'm very, very grateful.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
It's been an honour.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Well done. It seems to mean quite a lot to you, Jules. I've never seen you so emotional.
Yeah, that one got me.
When I saw the heart put back, I felt that it was staring at me and saying, I'm back. I'm looking at the oud, but I'm actually looking at my father. It evoked such a fantastic memory, and you had that little flash, this is my past, and that was the happy moments.
As one visitor returns home with their most precious of possessions restored, Susie has almost completed her work on the flying helmet.
The elastic that was on the helmet has unfortunately perished. Whilst I like to keep as much of the original as possible, this has had its day. I managed to find something that had a very similar texture to it, but it was very, very bright white. So I've stained it down using coffee to give it that aged look. Right, so all I need to do now is to attach the elastic onto the helmet. I'll have a couple of finishing touches here and it'll be ready to give back to Sam. And Sam is really keen to be able to show this helmet and mask to her children and share this wonderful story about Yvonne and all the adventures she had. And she's quite the remarkable grandmother.
The helmet was worn by Britain's first female commercial jet pilot. And for Sam, it's a cherished memento of both her pioneering grandmother and her proud father.
Hello, it's lovely to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Hi there. No, I'd seen Susie working on this, scratching her head quite a lot.
I am very excited and nervous to see it. It's been part of the grieving process from my granny dying last year, and it has come to mean an awful lot to us.
She was a trailblazer to us ladies, wasn't she?
Yeah. We are so, so proud of her and what she did.
Well, Susie, I think you should do the honours.
OK. Are you ready?
Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, that's stunning. Oh, that's just amazing. I love that it's still got that sense of age and it still looks hers. It doesn't look like a brand new thing, and that is what, of course, was always going to be most important.
What would your dad make of the restoration work?
I think he would be so happy and so pleased because no one was more proud of her than he was. He would be so, so pleased today.
Well, I'm very glad I've been able to put it in the condition that you were hoping to see it in.
And then some, absolutely.
You look like you want to try this on.
Maybe.
And I think Susan and I want to see you try it on.
I think it'd be good.
Uh-oh.
Look at that. Yeah.
Hold on.
That looks really good on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
Is it my colour?
Actually, it looks very good on
It's actually really comfortable.
Is it? I've enjoyed the process immensely, so thank you.
For me and the rest of my family, this has been just a wonderful thing to do and has been exactly what we've needed over the last year, so thank you.
My pleasure.
This is ready to take to the skies.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks.
Okay.
I didn't think it would be possible to bring my granny's flying helmet back to such quality. I think my granny would be chuckling that we were making such a big deal out of something that she would have worn just day to day. But also I think she would be quite pleased.